Gemini, what's up, y'all? How you doing? Let's try this again, shall we? I guess maybe we are going to have a pain in the ass post-shadow. I don't know. But, yeah, my phone did that thing last night where a call tries to come in and it just cut me off. And that pisses me off, too, because I have my phone set up to where it silences unknown calls. You know, it filters like spam calls and shit, and my phone doesn't ring if it's an unknown number. So, but it still doesn't matter when I'm live. It still comes through, and like if I'm live, it'll cut the fucking video off. It won't ring, but it'll cut the damn video off and say silenced call. God damn it. Anyway, though, that was my last bit of fucking energy last night. I had to hang it up for the night. So, let's see what messages come through today. It's bonus time. So, when I do bonus readings, I am looking for details, situations, or scenarios that did not make it into the first round of main monthly readings. If any of you are in need of a personal reading, all the information is in the description of this video. Or you could just go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. Either way, the number one choice that most people choose is my general personal readings. You ain't gotta ask me nothing, you ain't gotta tell me nothing, you just click what you want me to read and I'll do the rest. Quick, fast, efficient, easy, and cheap. I offer more than that, though. You can read up more about everything else I have to offer on my website. All right, let's jump into this. What was I starting these off with again? I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, the current long-term partner. Let's see if the same message comes through. I don't even remember what the message was last night, but I'm sure one of you probably does. If a different message comes through, that'll give you a clue as to why it cut out. Maybe timelines change, something, I don't know. Let's see what we can tell Gemini about the current long-term relationship. If you're not in a long-term relationship, this is not for you. If you are in a long-term relationship, but the two of you are not experiencing problems, this is not for you. Got that strength card there. Some of you dealing with a Leo, possibly. Damn it, I was hoping that card wouldn't come out. Oh, shit. The first card in the main spread. Eight of Cups. Empress reverse right next to it. Man, we got a lot of major arcana jumping out first thing. Holy shit. Ooh. I kind of remember this coming through last night, didn't it? If I remember correctly. Kind of looking like somebody here, one or the other of you might have just a whole new love offer coming in. But it's looking like somebody's walking the hell away from this. You know, maybe you're finally mustering up the strength and the courage to make the decision that you feel serves your highest good, even if it's a tough decision. I don't know, though. What's all this about, then? Because these two cards are cards of inaction. Are you deliberating? Or maybe are you trying to work up the courage to walk away, but can't really bring yourself to do it? Ace of Cups here. It's kind of feeling like somebody here. I hate to get too specific like that, but it really is feeling like somebody here probably has a whole other love offer coming in. That's what that feels like. Some of y'all dealing with a Pisces. Could be a fellow Gemini for some of you. I feel like that's your energy, though. I also have Taurus, Leo. Okay. Well, all right. Let's see how the current long-term partner feels about you. What their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions are. How's Gemini's current long-term partner feeling, universe? What's their energy look like in general? What kind of person are they? What are their intentions? What are their deepest feelings? Ace of Pentacles reversed. See, one thing that I've learned is, see, the card that jumps out like that, like the way I read, the first card that just jumps out before I start shuffling, that's supposed to give you a really good point of reference for the rest of the spread. And when something comes out that doesn't really make much sense like that, that usually typically tends to indicate some sort of confusion, you know? Like, I'm confused because they're confused, you know? Maybe they don't know how they feel. Could be an earth sign for some of you. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Yeah, see? And then the card of actual confusion comes out. I love it when that happens. Love it when that happens. Lover's card reversed again. So, if somebody doesn't really know how they feel, that means that their feelings aren't very strong, right? I don't think they feel quite the connection with you that they once did. Not quite. Now, for those of you wondering whether or not this is a financial codependency situation, I do have the card for that right here. Like if, and I know this isn't all of you, but if there's a couple of you maybe who are maybe a little bit more financially blessed than the average person, or maybe if you're definitely more financially blessed than this person and you're wondering if they're just sticking around for the money. I know it's not all of you, but if that matches your story, I do have the fucking card for it right here. I most certainly do. But honestly, you know what this feels like to me? I don't think this person takes these issues seriously. Like, I don't think that they, in a million years, think that you would leave. So, I don't think they're concerned about anything. You know, a lot of times when the energy comes through real thick and heavy like this, it'll show that the person is nervous that you're going to leave, or they're preparing themselves for a worst case scenario. It's almost like this is the last thing on this person's mind, and they really don't ever think you'll leave. Now, why don't they think that? Maybe you all have just been together for a really long time, or maybe you've been on and off. I don't know why they just don't really think you'll ever leave. Devil card. Yeah. Well, for those of you wondering whether or not there is any infidelity, if there's not, I think it's just a matter of time. Because this energy right here, if you used to come to me for a personal reading, like one of my general personal readings is the current relationship. If you came to me for a general personal reading and you got the current relationship, one thing I learned since I started doing those general reads is that 9 times out of 10, when somebody wants the current person read, the main thing they're looking for is whether or not the person is being faithful, most of the time. And what I would say if I saw this energy right here is they definitely got their eye on somebody. I don't see the card of active infidelity happening, but I think they would if they could. I think they have their eye on somebody. I think they have their eye on somebody, and if it's not happening right now, it's a matter of time. You know, it's just a matter of being at the right place at the right time, everything lining up perfectly. You know, so yeah, this doesn't really look all that solid on their part, man. I'm not gonna lie. Could be a Capricorn for some of you. Got Gemini again, Leo again, got Cancer in there. Remember, it could be anybody. Those are just energies. Okay, well, I guess let's grab the advice then. Oh, this is my least favorite part. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. It's my least favorite part of my job is advice for the current long-term relationship. Because after the years and years and momentum of energy that's gone into a relationship, it's really, really, really hard to give one person advice that can lead to a successful reconstruction of the energetic apparatus that you all have built over the years, you know? Because energy picks up momentum. We live in a dimension of linear time, okay? Yes, we all know time doesn't really exist, but we experience it in this dimension. And things pick up momentum. Energy picks up momentum. Cycles and patterns pick up momentum. And depending on how long y'all have been together and, you know, how long things have been looping around and repeating the same cycle, it could be really hard to break out of it. Really hard. Unless you have solid cooperation on both parts. That's the trick. Hermit. 3 of Wands. Well, here's the question. Okay. You know what? Here, I'm going to give a piece of advice I haven't given in a while. This is just a little experiment for you to experiment on yourself with. Ask yourself this question. Ask yourself. It don't matter what you tell me. I don't care, honestly. You ask yourself this. If I could rub a magic lamp and Will Smith pop out of it and grant me a wish, would I wish for my relationship to be perfect, happy, and normal? Would I do that? If there was a switch on the wall and I could flip that switch and make my relationship perfect, happy, successful, and normal, would I do that? Would I do that? Some of you may say, yes, I would. Some of you, if you really think about it, are probably going to be like, nah, not really. Honestly, I'm kind of fucking over it. Not really. If I really fucking think about it, not really. I'm kind of fucking over it, honestly. So, if you are part of Group A, and you would flip that switch or rub that lamp or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? Y'all need to have a serious fucking come to Jesus moment. This person needs to know what's going on in your head. You know, hey, maybe you have told them. Maybe you have set them down and said, yo, I'm not gonna fucking put up with this forever. Maybe some of you have had this conversation with them multiple times throughout the years, and since your actions never backed up your words, they don't believe you, you know? But that this person needs to be made aware that, yo, this is the problem. These are my concerns. First, here's what I'd like to do. You know, to just so it makes it easier for the person to receive the message. Go first. Let your guard down and start off by admitting some of your flaws and some of the things you need to work on. Because we all got shit we need to work on. You know that, right? If you a human walking around on this planet, in this dimension, if you think you ain't got nothing you need to fix or work on, you're fucking delusional. We all do. And yeah, there are some people that really believe that they don't. And those are the people who will never find a successful relationship with anybody, ever. So let that guard down and be open, honest, and vulnerable about some of your own issues. Look, we both got issues that we got to work on. This is what I need to work on, and here's my concerns with you. Can we at least agree to start working on our issues together? You know, because it's getting to a point where I got my hand on the doorknob and a foot out the door. You know, at least make an attempt to let the reality of the situation be known, okay? Now, For those of you who chose the other option, I'm kind of fucking over it. Even if I could like flip a switch and make it go back to normal, I don't even know if I'd be interested in doing that. Well, you know what time it is then. Because if that's really where you are vibrationally, it's not if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. This isn't gonna sustain itself forever on that energy. Not really. So you can either do it on your terms or let the universe do it on the universe terms. But it's gonna happen. I don't think, if you chose the last option, I don't think this relationship will see 2030. I don't think so. I would be surprised. I would shit a brick. So, there's still time to save this if you really wanted to. All right, gear shifting time. What was the second one? Fuck, I forgot. I think it was the singles and your love interest, wasn't it? Let's see if I left out any details. Is there anything else important Gemini needs to hear about the person they're interested in? This is the singles, by the way. I sure hope you're not in a relationship and interested in somebody else. I guess if you are, you can go ahead and take it. That's just not a very smart place to find yourself in, but whatever. Take it however it resonates. Single Geminis and the person they're interested in. How's it looking? How's it looking? Knight of Cups. Woohoo! Hang on a second. Before I speak on that, Queen of Cups. Well, this is weird. It kind of looks like a love offer is being made. I'm not gonna lie, usually I don't get too specific about this, but this feels pretty specific. It feels like you making an offer. And it kind of feels like the other person not really giving you a direct answer. You know, I guess that could go both ways, but I would imagine that if you are pressed enough about this issue to be here watching this video today, I would imagine if they made a love offer, you would be all over it, right? I don't know. Could go both ways, whatever. It looks like somebody's making a love offer. And whoever the offer is being made to isn't really giving a solid answer. It feels like a bunch of beating around the bush, you know? And at the end of the day, vibrationally, this situation kind of feels like it's becoming more of a burden than a blessing. So, some of you dealing with a Pisces. I also have Aries and Cancer here. Got Taurus there too. So here's the funny thing. If the two of you could get on the same page, there would be potential for long-term commitment here. I'm gonna have to go ahead and dig in and see what their feelings and intentions are. So why is this potential not being utilized? What's going on here? What's this person's true feelings and intentions? The person the single Geminis are interested in. What are their feelings, energies, and intentions? Two of Swords again. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know if they're ready to start new and start fresh. I think they might have a little bit of FOMO too. You know, that feeling where you're afraid that if you commit to one person, there's going to be something better out there that you're missing out on. I mean, I can't say I don't relate to that, but I haven't felt that feeling since I was in my early fucking 20s. So, I don't know. But believe it or not, though, I have seen fucking 40-year-olds behaving just like 20-year-olds. I've seen it a lot more than you would think. But, I mean, they have a little bit of FOMO. Are they attracted to you? Yes. Yes, they are attracted to you. Ace of Cups reverse, though. I don't know if they're overflowing with emotion, but they are attracted to you. They do find you attractive. I just don't really think they know what they want exactly. It's like, I want commitment, but I don't know with whom. You know? I think they're afraid. It's like they're afraid to make a decision. They're afraid to make a decision because they might miss out on some other opportunity. You know? Okay. Could be a Cancer for some of you. Also have Taurus and Saggy here. All right. Well, advice time. I don't really know how much advice could be given for a situation like that, but you never know. Let's see. Damn, Ten of Swords. Well, tell you what. Sometimes, more often than not, it's really healthy, wise, and smart to know when it's appropriate to throw in the white towel. Not all the time. There are absolutely things that are worth fighting for and pushing for. But if it's a person that doesn't really know if they want you, does that really sound like the person the universe picked for you? Now, every once in a blue moon, I've heard a tiny little handful of stories where a pair of karmic soulmates, and I'm not using that word the way you think I am. I hate the way people use that in the spiritual community. A couple that has unfinished business from a past life, right? Karma. They can come together like that, where one person just chases them and pursues them and chases them and pursues them and chases them and pursues them and chases them and pursues them. And then they finally cave in and give in, and then, hey, it turns out successful. I've heard of that maybe 3 times. 3 or 4 times, maybe. But that's not very common. Those aren't divine life partners. No, not really. So you really want to ask yourself, should I have to pursue you at great length? Nothing wrong with a pursuit, you know, nothing wrong with coming forward and taking action. But should I have to chase you as you run from me? Should I have to try to persuade you? Should I have to fight for you? Hey, maybe a karmic partner, okay? But a divine life partner? Just letting you know, I don't know if you care or not. Some people don't give a shit, but that is a clear indication this isn't your divine life partner. Maybe you don't care. Some people don't, you know, because your divine life partner isn't the only person you can build a life partnership with, you know. For example, you only have one mother, right? Only one. But is she the only woman that could play the role of your mom? No. If it all came down to it and the universe had to bring somebody else in to play that role, that could happen. Oh, there's plenty of women who the universe could assign that role if it came down to it and the plan got fucked up. Similarly, Just because somebody's not your divine life partner, does that mean they can't play the role of your life partner? No. So you may not care, but I would say that if you do make an offer, that's good on your part. But if they act like they don't know or they really don't care, or they're beating around the bush, or they're stringing you on, breadcrumbing you, leading you on, at some point we have to know where to draw the line. Because we have to have some fucking boundaries. We have to have some self-respect. At what point do we cross the line and begin disrespecting ourselves? Right? At what point am I disrespecting myself by hanging on to somebody that doesn't see my value? You know? I guess that's different for everybody. But just some things to think about. All right. We're going to see if we can take one more look at the person from the past. See if I left anything out. Anything I left out about Gemini and the person from the past? Anything I left out? Ooh, 9 of Pentacles. You might just intimidate that person a little bit. You might. They do think about you. They do. I mean, I don't think it's like keeping them awake at night. But you do cross their mind very frequently. Very frequently. Honestly, I think you intimidate them a little bit. Because they see you as Queen of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. Now, they are King of Pentacles reverse, Page of Wands. So, if you're a King of Pentacles reverse, Page of Wands, and you see a Queen of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, that's going to be a little bit intimidating. It's like, damn, I know I'm going to have to step my fucking game up if I want to be with you. I don't want to do all that bullshit. I want to be with somebody that accepts me for the lazy bum that I am. And, you know, I mean that very broadly. I don't know if you're dealing with somebody who is like not doing well financially or anything like that. But, you know, even if you are doing well financially, if you have no goals or ambitions just to better yourself as an individual, you know, bettering your life financially and providing a better life for your family and whatnot, that is one thing. But if you're not bettering yourself as an individual, it don't matter how much fucking money you got. It don't matter how big your house is, how new your car is. You know, if you're not bettering yourself as an individual, that money doesn't add up to a hill of horse shit, you know? So take that however it resonates. I don't know, but I think this person does know that they would have to step up their game. I don't know. Were you like that when you all were together, or is this something that you started since you parted ways? Maybe some of you really hopped on a healing path, and they're noticing that, and they're like, oh shit, oh damn, I'm gonna have to step my game up this time, you know? So they're not seeing what they would consider to be a good open door of opportunity to come forward. I think they do feel a little bit guilty and a little bit stupid. A little bit. They do. Okay. Could be a Taurus for some of you. Also have Saggy. Anybody else? Aquarius. Okay. Could be anybody. Those are just energies. All right. Well, advice time. What's the advice? Whoa. Ace of Cups reverse. Hang on. 3 shuffles. 1, 2, and 3. Four of Pentacles, 2 of Wands reversed. Okay. Well, this is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. I think that, man, this whole Leo season has been tricky with the past person. Well, for every sign. This karmic tie does need to be cut, because there is a karmic tie here. If there wasn't, you wouldn't even be watching me right now. But I think it's getting to a point, honestly, it's either at the point or getting close to the point where a conversation, y'all having a conversation would be very beneficial on your part. Now, I would strongly recommend that you do not initiate a conversation with this person if you think they could potentially play mind games with you or trigger you. Because they gonna try. Oh, they gonna try. Do you think you could approach this person with no expectations and taking anything they say with a grain of salt? Just for the most part, and this is hard to explain because I don't want to say go into it thinking that they're lying to you. Just go into it very neutral. Go into it as an observer, just observing from afar. You know, anything that they say, don't take it to heart. Don't believe anything that they say to be the God's honest truth. Just kind of observe. I think that it would really seriously help you be able to clear a lot of this energy. I think so. I think so. Now, once you do enough of a vibrational change, when you reconnect with somebody from the past, 1 or 2 things would have to happen if the 2 of you wanted to come back together. Either A, this person would have to raise up to meet you, or B, you would have to drop down to meet them. And you don't have to be a fucking skateboard scientist to figure out the outcome of those 2 scenarios. But, you know, there's a paradox, like I said, and this is where the paradox comes in. I tell my personal clients this all the time. The more healing you do, the less interested you become in revisiting the past. But if you did want to successfully revisit the past, you would have to do some healing. But the more healing you do, the less interested you become in doing that. It's very paradoxical. But don't focus too much on that. Just, if I was you, I would make sure that if you go to communicate with this person, be sure that you're bringing a totally different version of yourself to the table. And you can't fake it. It ain't gonna work if you fake it. You genuinely have to bring a new person to the table. And hey, best case scenario, maybe that inspires them to become a new version of themselves. And maybe the 2 of you could take a new timeline together. It could happen. It's possible. Or I think what'll probably happen for a lot of you though, is now you're up on you're up elevated higher. You're much higher up than you were the last time you talked to them. So now you see things from a much bigger perspective. And it'll probably help you just release it. You'll probably talk to them for 10 or 15 minutes and be like, never mind. Nah, never mind, I'm good. I'm good. But you never know. You never know until you do it, okay? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Gemini family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is all down here in the description, all right? I'm out of here now. I will see y'all sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.